Another one of those tragedies of life that I've been talking about lately. We never know what could have made us happy. We never know what we could have been. We never know what direction our lives could have gone because we shield things out. We stop ourselves from experiencing things with these words, just, and all you have to do is. If you're depressed, all you have to do is distract yourself. It'll go away. Yeah. Just like that cut on your hand, it'll go away eventually. Even if you keep lifting weights and tearing it open every single day. Even if you, and if you use that hand to smear the feces on the wall, well, now you've just compounded your problems because now you've torn your hand open and you've got E. coli and other bacteria in there. I'm sure it'll be fine. Look, just put some Neosporin on it. It'll be fine. All you have to do is just cover it up. No, you have to take care of it. And some wounds heal faster than others, and that has everything to do with how we treat the wound. Physical, emotional, psychological.
I just got all my feelings out, like just lifting the heavy ass weight that there is in the gym. Just keep doing that, like destroying my body, like instead of like physically like paying myself, I was like destroying it like with the way like helping me build like muscle or something. And that helped me.
That's good advice, by the way, literally and figuratively, to pick up the heaviest weight that you can. When you're struggling with something like depression. Depression oftentimes leads from lack of meaning and a lack of purpose. And so, sure, you can go to the gym and you can pick up the heaviest weight that they have there, but also you can pick up the heaviest weight that you have in your life, which is responsibility. Find the heaviest responsibility that you can, adopt it willingly, take it on, not because someone shoves it onto you, but because you choose to say, I'm going to take up this thing, and I'm going to resolve it. I'm going to see it through. I'm going to see it through.
Year, plus so, but it's a really tough battle. Stuck with you.
Dealing with that stuff could take you a lifetime.
Yep, very.
It's funny, I wonder how many of you guys will encounter something like that where you're going through a dark period and you're like, well, that's not me, that this isn't who I am. I go through those dark periods sometimes and I go, oh shoot, I'm coming back out. Time to suppress. Yeah.
What I wrote was, I think the collective unconscious gives us a lot of knowledge about our emotions and what they mean. And the fact that we tend to like throw it under the rug to keep the status quo, even though we know it. And it's not the fact that you don't want to say it or that you're not strong enough to say it. Or it's not the fact that you're not strong enough to say it, it's the fact that you don't want to say it. Just to keep the status quo. Because the status quo is always going to be comfortable. And emotional damage is one of those things to where the process of healing it is very voluntary. And it's not like if you cut your hand and it's going to heal by itself. You have to focus on your healing. And that's how it heals. The great thing about this the great thing about this quote is that what she wants to say. Because that's all that emotions are. Nothing happens. It's not that stuff happens for no reason or people, not stuff. It's not that people do things for no reason. It's that there's a reason behind it. I'm not going to throw shit at the wall and be like, I was bored. Well, sometimes you're bored. But what does that bored mean? That you'd rather throw shit at the wall than do something else? That shows more character than never saying anything.
If you're bored, you can read a book too. Why choose to throw shit on the wall? That's a real question, by the way. I think I told you that when we opened up the new building, the building was only open for a couple of weeks, and somebody had taken a shit in the middle of the floor on the third floor and had smeared it on the walls. I'm not sure how that transfer happened. I don't know if they had a glove, but there was in fact feces on the floor and smeared across the walls of a brand new building. Was it $60 million to the building, something like that? $40 million to the building? And that's how someone just chose to treat it. Why? And we could just say, oh, they were just bored. We walk away. No. There are a million things that you can do when you're bored. Smearing crap on the wall is one of millions of things that you can do. The question is, why do we choose that one thing? It's just like when we're bored, why do we watch television? Why do we choose to do that rather than go climb a mountain? Or rather than go run? Or rather than, and if you're somebody who goes to a gym when you're bored, why do you choose to do that rather than watch television? You know, there are reasons that we choose to do these things, and we discount ourselves, we discount that want when we just kind of write it off and say, I was just bored, or it's just what I do. Man, whenever you say just, I find 90% of the time, whatever comes after that is complete bullshit. Complete bullshit. It's like when you see somebody who studies like a martial art and they're telling you how to win a fight, and like, oh, look, just, whatever comes after just is probably bullshit. Because your opponent gets a vote also when you're fighting with someone. They get to decide how things go. It's like when someone says, all you have to do is, whatever comes after that is usually bullshit. But all you have to do is, no, probably not. Probably not all you have to do. So you're right to zero in on that thing about treat her like a guest and listen to what she wants to say. Because when you behave in ways, you're doing it for a reason. And you're not conscious of the reason. Remember, you've got your personal consciousness, your field of awareness, and that's the stuff that you're immediately aware of. It's also the thing that makes excuses. And I don't mean excuses in the negative way here. I just mean excuses like, why are you doing that? Oh, it's just because I'm bored. You know, you make up stuff like that out of your consciousness because that's the superficial answer. The personal unconscious is where you go to find out, really, why are you going to the gym instead of watching television? Why are you watching television instead of going to the gym? Why are you smearing feces on the wall? All of those have some kind of a motivation. There's a reason that we do everything that we do, everything that we do. Right now, I mean, geez, how many rules do I have in class? You know, like 2, don't put your head down, and what's the other one?
Don't listen.
Yeah, don't have AirPods in when I'm talking. And yet my classes, my goodness, they're just like overwhelmed now. As the semester's gone on, more and more and more and more people are wearing them. And it's interesting, because I know that I talk with a beautiful cadence, don't I? But I know it's not a beautiful enough cadence for someone to sit there watching me going, and yet I'm supposed to believe you're listening to what's going on. And it's like, now why on earth are you here? Because my mom makes me. Okay, but if your mom was standing above you, would you be doing that? Like, are you really fulfilling the thing that your mom is asking you to do? Or are you pulling the very legal American thing of, well, technically, she just said I have to go to class. She doesn't have to pay attention and learn. Really, you want to live your life on a technicality? You want to talk and interact with everybody around you like they're lawyers, and you have to spell out the letter of every little single thing? If so, can't wait for you to have kids and see what that's like. Some of you make it this far. Instead, we understand that we're violating the thing that we're being asked to do. Oh, but it's just, oh, there's that word just again. Like, all you have to do is show up. Sounds like whatever comes after that is bullshit. All you have to do is, it's just. And we know this. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. And again, as the semester goes on, more and more people are doing it. Whatever. I'm not here to force anybody to get better. I'm not here to force anybody to do anything. The only thing I'm here to do is to help lead you to yourself. That's all it is. I don't know what you're going to need in life. I don't know what makes you happy. You do. But you don't know what could have made you happy. And that's another one of those tragedies of life that I've been talking about lately. We never know what could have made us happy. We never know what we could have been. We never know what direction our lives could have gone because we shield things out. We stop ourselves from experiencing things with these words, just, and all you have to do is. Like if you're depressed, all you have to do is distract yourself. It'll go away. Yeah. Just like that cut on your hand, it'll go away eventually. Even if you keep lifting weights and tearing it open every single day. Even if you, and if you use that hand to smear the feces on the wall, well, now you've just compounded your problems because now you've torn your hand open and you've got E. coli and other bacteria in there. I'm sure it'll be fine. Look, just put some Neosporin on it. It'll be fine. All you have to do is just cover it up. No, you have to take care of it. And some wounds heal faster than others, and that has everything to do with how we treat the wound. Physical, emotional, psychological, all of that. Problem is that a lot of us don't know how to treat it. Like we talk about, oh, you just put a Band-Aid and some Neosporin on it. That's all. Just do that. That's all you have to do. And that's something that to us is very common sense. And yet there are people all over the world, all throughout history, who that was not common sense to. So it took longer for those wounds to heal. And so, fortunately, we live in a time and place where you know how to heal those physical wounds. And of course, how often do we really take that advice, though? How much less for our psychological and our emotional wounds? Yeah.
Half the part of doing that, then you kind of have to know the why and the how. Because if you know the why, then it just makes sense. I know that I should put Neosporin on because it kills bacteria. But I know that I should because that's what they told me to. You don't understand that unless you know the why. And once you know the why, it becomes a lot easier to do the how.
Yes, that last part is important. It becomes easier to do. We know why. I mean, if you just kind of do it because you're told to do it, well, is it necessarily a bad thing? No, not necessarily. You know, can anybody in here explain the physics behind gravity? There's always one. That's good. That's not the physics behind gravity. That's a cliche. Yeah. And so if you can, then you understand gravity. You understand gravity in a way that none of us all understand. Does that mean therefore we go, well, I don't understand gravity, so I'm going to go jump off the big building? No, we understand enough of it. We've been told enough, and we've seen enough that even if we don't understand it completely, so at least we know not to do it. Sometimes in life there are things that we should just follow directions on because we don't even though we don't know exactly why. And of course, we should find out why. It helps us because we now apply that to other areas of life. We can help other people, explain things to other people. But the why and the how, if you've got both of those two things together, then you've got something really, really powerful that you can use in your life. Depression is like a woman in black, and I appreciate we stayed away from the, she represents death. No, she doesn't. She represents something obscured, something unclear, mysterious, but interesting. Interesting. There's a reason that every girl has a little black dress. And some guys. You know who you are. There's a reason for this. I understand. And if she turns up, if depression turns up, if she shows up, don't shoo her away. Don't just cover it up with stuff. Don't just distract yourself. Don't just anything. Invite her in. Offer her a seat. Treat her like a guest. I like this thing about treating her like a guest. Find out, take a real interest in your guests. Take a real interest in them as human beings. Take a real interest in everybody you meet as a real human being. I was listening to this podcast this morning from a psychiatrist. I wish I could remember his name. I'll remember it for fourth period. Anyway, he was talking about how he essentially argues that over half of the world's problems are caused by narcissists. And a narcissist is not someone who's just self-centered. A narcissist is a person who is deeply, deeply, deeply insecure about themselves. And it manifests as this extreme self-love. It's overcompensating. We think we're ugly so that we walk around talking about how beautiful we are. Lizzo? Yeah. And then they can even trick some of us. I know some people like, oh, but she, yeah, right. But then, just saying, man, I'm saying the obvious. And then some of you are sitting there going like, I'm glad someone finally said it. And then we can even, trick people into saying those words. Oh yeah. And because here's the thing, if she wasn't Lizzo, if you just ran into her at a Starbucks, I don't know how many of you would be like, damn, look at her. No, it's only because she's Lizzo, and people become very, very attractive when they have millions of dollars in the bank. Believe me, it's something I know about. But treat her like a guest. Listen to what she wants to say. Treat her like a guest. Listen to what she wants to say. Take in something. Interview it. Find out why your depression is showing up. And by the way, it's not just depression. It's anxiety. It's anger. It's self-hatred. It's narcissism. Because narcissism is going to manifest whether you want it to or not, if it's in you. But if you can see it manifesting, you understand that the real core of it is this self-hatred, this lack of self-esteem. Find out, why do I think so lowly about myself? Maybe it's because I think I'm ugly. Well, lots of us do. So what? Join the party on that. I don't mean so what in terms of like, oh, just get over it. If it was that easy, we would all do it. But I'm saying we can try to delve into it and find out why I think this about myself. And then if you can kind of come to this conclusion of I'm just ugly in this way, and if you really are self-assessing, okay, but really truly self-assess yourself in every other way. Are you kind-hearted? Because there's something about kind-hearted people that seem to be more attractive to us. Maybe you maximize that. Maybe you become smart. Maybe you become ambitious. Maybe you become fill in the blank of the thing you want to be. Because there are things we can't control being. Some people are depressed because of the chemical imbalance. Okay? We can't control that necessarily. You can with medication. But understand what you're losing when you take that medication. Because the medication will stop you from having these ups and downs, but now it just kind of levels you out. And if you're a creative person, you understand the dangers of that. Heck, if you're a person who wants to be deeply in love, you understand the dangers of that. There's something dangerous about living this life that's just kind of in the middle and missing those highs and those lows. Although it's a reasonable question. Do the highs have to be so high? Do the lows have to be so low? Do they have to follow one another so tightly where you can shift your moods from high and low 3 or 4 times in a day? It's a roller coaster. That sucks. That's the heavy damn thing that you have to pick up and carry maybe. And sure, you can level it out with medication, and for many people, that's important. Because if you're thinking about killing yourself, you have to be here in order to get better. And so that's the thing that you have to do in order to pick up the cross. To carry yourself, to pick up the heaviest damn thing that you possibly can, and to move forward with it.
Yeah. Sometimes to heal a scar, you need some good old morphine.
Sometimes to heal a scar, you need some good old morphine.
Or shots.
I don't know a better way to end that. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques. Happy Wednesday?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Is it happy?
We'll see if we get some morphine.